general AGI companies, general artificial intelligence, where you're trying to create like an intelligent being. Those are very tough companies, and I think they'll largely just be talent buys. Like I don't believe that any company will really get there anytime soon, but I do think very specific vertical applications make a lot of sense today, or alternatively infrastructure. So I actually think the semiconductor layer for artificial intelligence is really interesting right now.
That's really interesting.
And very underinvested.
So you think NLPs in speech and others will be?
I think more things like, if you look at the chips that people use in the AI market, most people are using like NVIDIA GPUs. Nirvana sold to Intel.
Nirvana sold
and so Intel's trying to build custom chips there. Obviously NVIDIA's done enormous marketing around their GPUs. But if you look at places like Google, they've actually built TPUs, or tensor processing units, for TensorFlow and other things, where you can effectively preload a machine learning model onto a chip and run it.
The Google's proprietary language, TensorFlow.
Exactly. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of, or there's going to be a small number of companies that can be extremely valuable if they really focus on the hardware layer for machine learning applications or for deep learning applications. And that, to me, for example, feels like a very underinvested area right now, but one that I'm personally very excited about.
I think machine vision, the machine learning applications for machine vision seem very, very exciting as well. Is that an area, is that on or off?
I guess I generally view it as what are vertical applications that really make sense from a market perspective again. So I think there's all sorts of advances that have occurred in machine vision. I think there's great new things that have happened from a technology perspective. But the big question in my mind is always, okay, what market are you applying it to, and how much of a market need is there? And that really, at least for me, will drive like investment decisions. So I do think generically, like machine learning and AI have some interesting characteristics, the infrastructure layer, and then certain vertical applications. I think I'm still quite bullish on SaaS and enterprise-related products. So I'm an investor in Stripe and Checker and Optimizely and a lot of these sort of SaaS services. And I think there's still enormous room there for people to effectively build pieces of commonly used infrastructure for companies. Just like Stripe is a piece of infrastructure for payments, or Checker for background checking. I think there's going to be, if you went and you took a Fortune 500 company and you were to ask, what does it consistently have to build over and over again across all these different Fortune 500 companies, and can you turn that into code effectively? Either it could be a process like background checking, which is traditionally a bit more manual, or it could be a commonly used piece of infrastructure like what Mailgun or SendGrid have done, where the founders of Mailgun basically kept building email servers over and over, right? And so they said, oh, we should build this as a service. And so I think there's probably another dozen billion-dollar companies that you can build just off of those types of products. And so I still think there's a lot of room there, for example. So I'm still quite bullish on certain areas of what you'd consider traditional internet or enterprise services. And then, of course, everybody's still waiting to see what will be the next great consumer product. And at least today, it feels like there's a real gap there where there hasn't been anything super exciting for a couple years now.